But boy, you are decked out now. There was so much green watch, green agbada, green specs. Now only your teeth remain. All the green teeth. Dotun, you and I are supposed to be closer. We share the same lawyer and manager. Yeah. Why has that boy been keeping us from each other? Why has that? Are you the one that started the hype thing?
No, the truth is, if you go and check ChatGPT, Google the biggest hype man in the world, I'm number 20. I think I'm the only African on it at number 20.
Yeah, but Dotun, why are you always fighting? Why is that? When I think of you,
I know he meant good, but you are putting someone else in the line of fire but at the end of the day, if I fight based on how I feel, in all of this, I can boldly tell you that I was greatly wronged. But like I said,
you were greatly wronged.
I was greatly wronged. Somebody did not even know I was ever married. Mm. A lot of people didn't even know. A lot didn't know I was ever married. But I was married for 9 years. And let's be honest, if we want to throw all the cards on the table, the truth is, this is someone I've probably seen broke many times. But so it's never about that. But because of what the projection, that's what people see and think that's it. It's never that. I was just very principled and I didn't like that. Everything I was told to the public was all lies. And you know why I can talk and say anything? Because I have proof. It was time. I just woke up one morning, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Because in all of this, if I lose myself, how am I going to win? So I want to be able to win myself back and win my happiness back, win my peace back. And I mean, that's what the kids will love to see at the end of the day. But all of the two things I wanted to clear on the show with you, Teju, is that, which I've never said anywhere, is that
all alubarika.
All alubarika.
Me, I have decided that the one thing that I won't be doing is adding to my stress level. And you should do the same too. So as a business owner, save yourself the stress of trying to manage and balance your books and leave it to the experts, to the professionals at Finserve Pro. They will help you organize your books, track your expenses, and keep you ready for tax season while you focus on what is important, growing your business. And get this, they've got certified QuickBooks Pro advisors on the team to ensure your bookkeeping is up to standard. So whether you're running a business or hosting a talk show, or bookkeeping, or you need bookkeeping boosting, just call Finserve Pro. Let the professionals handle it for once. The professionals who are on your side. He's the hype man. He's the hype maestro. He has a unique brand. When you see him, you know him when you hear him.
They call me D.O. to the T.U.N. You already know it.
You know him. It's my pleasure to have him in there. This is taking a minute. On this one is Dotun. I hope I got it correctly. He pronounced it for me for the first time today.
I get that.
Yeah, this is the Teju Babyface Show Deep Dive. This is the Deep Dive. My brother, how do you pronounce that?
My name, okay.
Yeah.
You're not the first person who had to bit that tongue twister. It is D.O. to the T.U.N. But it's a lot easier when you just call me the energy god.
Oh my, man. I've always, are you ever going to, what was the last time your hair saw black?
Actually, I think the last time my hair ever saw black was when they asked us to come. I was supposed to renew my passport and they said, now they changed that. But at the time I went to the passport office and they said, you cannot have colored hair. So
that's the thing.
I think that was about 2-3 years ago. So I had to turn it black.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So every time you want to go and renew your passport, your hair.
No, they changed that now.
They changed that
last passport, I think it was 2-3 years ago or 5 years ago. and they told me I have to change my hair. I can't have color hair. But I think right now, the last passport I had, it wasn't a big deal.
I've not said this to any guest in a long time. But boy, you are decked out now. There always so much. Green watch, green agbada, green specs. Not only your teeth remain, but the green teeth.
Well, for me, I'm very fashionable. I love to look good. It's necessary for me. I feel like, aside the fact that the brand, elevates you to want to be, to feel outside the box. But for me, I feel like it's just part of me. I like to look good. I like to just, in my own small space, I feel like I like to come out looking good every single time. You also, you've had that same vibe for a very long time. I think it's easy to find Teju in a suit.
Yeah.
And it's all decked up.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's good. That's what the business is about.
Yeah, you look good. In fact, you look good so much that because I've been struggling with this for years. Because I've always wanted to wear agbadas, right? And so I have the character that I play on the show called Governor Babyface, where I do that. So it allows me. But seeing you, I say, see how man be like, man. It's like senior man.
Thank you, man. It's all God. You have to live right, and you have to keep your mind in the right places. But more importantly, is for me, I've always loved in where I find myself, profession, even amongst people, my peers, I just love to look good.
So I'm always shocked whenever you speak Yoruba. I'm always like, Talonso Yoruba. You came in and you said, Mabinu. I'm like, Dr. Naid is big. But you're obviously a Yoruba boy.
I am from Ondo State, majorly from a village called Ajue. It's a small village just after Ore.
Yeah.
And both parents are from Ondo State. And I grew up in a really very simple family of five. My mom, retired nurse. My dad, retired engineer. And both parents I have two siblings. I'm the first. I have a sister who's the second born. And I have a younger brother as well. Who's the
but where they say they get this accent, you suppress me back. Look. So I refused. I hated doing radio for a minute because I always thought I sounded just like rubbish on radio, right? I mean, but so did you ever, is this something you cultivated or did you spend time out of the country?
So the thing is, I've traveled to a lot, but you see, when the type of job you're doing, it's something that I've always, all the time I listen to the biggest shows on to push me to what I did and what I'm doing right now was I'm pretty big on American shows. And I think the first shows I used to listen to was called The Voice of America.
Okay.
By a guy called Shaka Sally. But at the time, those were the type of programs and shows that shaped me into, becoming, what I am in broadcasting. I've always loved the style because it's free, it's fluid, for every American show you see, there's an edge to it. And that's what I've always wanted. And I've traveled, lived around people who, I just said it, with the kind of job that I've done, I moved into it, is the house style. And I built it, and I've always wanted to be different. And I think so far, this is what I have acquired. I'm self-taught. Aside the fact that I had to learn on the job, I did every single thing to build myself to where I am. But everything you see about me is self-taught because I also want to be in the midst of everyone to be able to do things that I would love to do and do it well and do it right. And then, I can compete in any market in the world.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you initially is, Dr. You and I are supposed to be closer. We share the same lawyer and manager. Why has that boy been keeping us from each other? Why has that?
The thing is, we have a friend, very mutual friend, who he deals with everybody based off on the relationship you've built with him. You're never going to hear conversations about you telling me or things about me telling you. It's very professional. And I think that for me, with the kind of mind he's built and the kind of relationship he's built with people is why I've respected him more. He's a guy who does his job at the same time, his family. And then, also with him, he wanted it to be right.
Yeah.
He wanted to be at the right
No,
time.
he was, look, as a point, I had to ask him. I said, let me talk to, if I said in Yoruba, she don't see now. Look, like, because because he and I go way back.
Yeah.
Well, you knew me before you knew. And what's wrong with you?
True.
He was like, no, Baba, Dotun is, I want you to do Dotun face to face. In fact, let me tell you that it was one of the reasons why I started planning to come back earlier than, or rather, it was really important to me to make this journey at this time, because look, Demilade is not going to allow me talk to Dotun.
Yeah.
He said, look, I know Baba, I know that all that virtual thing works, but somehow
it's best
I want you guys. I say, okay.
This should have happened, a while ago.
Yeah.
But I also wanted it to be, and he's very protective of my time, my privacy, my space, and he wanted me to be in the right frame of mind to be able to have this conversation with you. So I think he was just being protective.
Yeah.
But majorly is, I think with his level of expertise and how he has worked with you, I remember one time, and I think it's the level of professionalism when it was about your name, particularly the King of.
Oh yeah, we're fighting over King of Talk one time,
because he tells me he's one of the best lawyers I've ever seen, but he will tell you, I don't like to go to court. I'll do everything that I can to make sure we sort things out before we get there. I'm like, okay, this is the kind of lawyer that I want.
Yeah.
And then it was like how he sorted that out with you, and you guys have a level, and you were very professional. I think you come across, watching you on your show for a long time, you come across to me like someone who's a perfectionist. And we saw like a Demilade.
Yeah.
He's like that.
Yeah.
Things have to be done right. I'm like, this is the type of lawyer that I want.
Yeah.
And I think all sitting here, it was just right for us to have this conversation now.
Yeah.
It's just right.
But so before, look, when I was coming up, we just did parties. There was nothing like a hype man. This is like, what was a hype? You just did a party. But when I think hype now, I think you've owned that. Are you the one that started the hype thing?
Now, the truth is, I always give accolades to certain people. There's a guy that calls Special Spesh.
Oh yeah, big Spesh. Yeah.
Spesh was one of he was actually the pioneer of, let's even before we come to Spesh, there's a guy who always, he backs up Yinka Efele.
Oh,
his music. I'm trying to remember his name.
Oh, come on, I can't remember. I remember Oson is the guy who drums. Yati.
That was hype. There was a guy, and I loved it because when I listened to Yinka Efele, there's that guy who I know drops those, words, and he backs it up. But the truth is,
but that'd be also the guy who does it for Pasuma too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So those guys are hype men.
Okay.
Now, we didn't see it as that. The guy who started hype is Special Spesh. And I always say it in all my conversation because I have a lot of respect for him. Special Spesh was, he used to be the guy who was behind Mo Hits. But majorly, the people that I always love their craft and act, that I was trying to find my hands and place my hands on it. What exactly is this? Is the guy that actually that backs up Yinka Efele.
Okay.
There's that guy that when Yinka Efele sings, he says something. He always says something. Yeah. I'm like, there's something about this thing, because sometimes I listen to the music and I cannot wait for that guy to speak. Now, growing up and now to what he is now, I realize, this is hype. Because now this is someone who makes the main guy look larger than life, or makes anything, even the music, sound or look larger than life. But that means there's something here for Yinka to be using this guy. And then I saw Special Spesh, who was, it was, things were changing at the time. The music was changing. People were having different genres. Nigerian music was getting a lot respected. Yeah. And then that was when he introduced that with the Mo hits. And then, then I came and I can say, I can take credit for the fact that I commercialized it.
Okay.
And then I started to do it with musicians. I started to do voice drops. And again, what shaped all of that was because I was on radio. I found a voice. I realized, there's a lot more that I can do than just being the guy on the radio. And then I used to watch a lot of bashment parties from Jamaicans. Jamaicans are known for that. where you have a guy who's on the microphone, he's partying, and then he's talking on every song. And everybody's going crazy. I'm like, there's something here. And then I started to love Busta Rhymes guy they call Spliffstar. And I'm like, so Busta Rhymes is great, he's a great rapper, but it's this guy that talks every single time, is always hat-lipping, always trying to, just push the music beyond what it is. I said, so there's something here. And then I started that on radio as a specimen.
Okay.
I created a show called the Party Club Mix on Cool FM at the time.
Okay.
It was on every Fridays. And then the DJ is playing. And then I'm talking on the song. And then you're introducing the song. You're at the same time, you're backing it up, and then it sounds a lot different. I'm like, you know what? This sounds good. And then at the time, Bassman was a big thing then. They had people like the Elephant Man, likes of Benny Man, those type of party. And then the grime came in as well. Yeah. And then, what, this would be nice. Then I took that same template and I took it to clubs.
Okay. Oh, okay.
My first club was Deuces. And then the manager said, I like it. I heard you guys on the radio and it'd be nice for you to come and do this party here. And let's just do it. I'm like, okay, this sounds different. I remember one of the parties, somebody told me, I said, bro, this is noise. And then sometimes people pay you money just to, then at the time, just not say anything on the microphone. But I didn't stop. Then it grew to, please, I'd like you to actually mention my name on the microphone. I'm like, okay, so, and that's what you now see now. People like the Shagun Johnson.
Oh, that came from that.
Yeah, and all of that.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I commercialized it and then said, you know what? I want to take this out of the club. I want to take it to events, parties. Because now I now realize that there was a problem in Nigeria. Nigerians like to party, but they don't want to be the first to stand up.
True.
It was a big problem.
They don't want to be the first to give a speech. They don't want to be the first to make the toast. They don't want to be the first to answer the question. Yeah.
Even when they serve them food, they don't want to be the first to
eat.
So I realized that was a problem. Everybody stuck up. And then, especially when they had tables and chairs. So I was one of the few guys that broke that. I'm like, you know what? I want to take this away from when I show up. Once I show up, they see this guy is the epitome of entertainment. This is the guy that's going to bring energy to the party. That's it. And then I started to break that. I love when I go for party and there are tables. I love it. When it's, do you have tables? Let's do it. So then it started to become a thing where the method is very simple. I look at one person that likes my vibe. I focus on that person. I focus on that person continually. And then it resonates. This one picks it up. For example, it could be a husband and wife. The wife, I like this guy's vibe. She starts dancing. I get up to dance. Yeah. The husband has no choice. And then before you know, the brother picks up. And then, the guest who came. And then it goes straight to the celebrant like that. And then I kicked that off. And when I saw that this is a lot more than what I think it is, then Brand started to call for it. And then it now resonated to, Aside that, I was also doing backup for Olamide. Olamide, the first guy that ever put me on the show was Vector the Viper. Vector saw something, we did a record together, and I said, this is good. And Vector was like, this is a thing. I said, yeah, it is a thing. And they're like, we can build this. This is mad. It's mad. And then afterwards, iSpring saw it and said, you know what? I'd like you to back me up because I like how you intro people when they come out. You make them feel larger than life. I mean, you talk and then they have goosebumps and I'm ready to kick off. You are the fire in the room. You're the energy in the room. So the first tour, he said, I'd like you to come and open for me at the show in London. I did that. And then Bado came through. Bado and we spoke, built a good friendship. And then Bado was one of the few guys who make a record. The same way you have all the Funkmaster Flight, you make, or DJ Clue, where you do, people make records and just, reference them. Olamide was one of the guys who used to reference me a lot. And that was why he came up with the line, Dotun Cool FM, High Party Poju, Emigon, Seke, Lambati Poju. So the streets picked that up. It resonated so much energy in it. I built on that. I was on tour with him in London. There was one of the tours I went with him in the United States to 5 cities, and that was it. That was how everything picked up. But aside that, I built that over the radio. I started to do club gigs. And then I said, you know what? It's time to change my looks. I've always loved Raiden, I'm a gamer. I play Mortal Kombat sometimes. Yeah. I love Raiden. Raiden is a guy and I watched the movie where he's the guy, he's the most powerful guy in the room,
Yeah.
but he says nothing. But when he walks in, things happen. And then I also love the methodology of Shango. I fused it because Shango is fire, is lightning, but you know, he's quiet. But when he roars, it's different. I picked that up. I built my story around that. I built my story about how I got the name Energy God. And the truth is because there were comments. This guy taking something. This guy on something. Why this guy get energy? And then one of these I just said, Energy God. Energy God. It just worked. I said, Energy God. I'm the Energy God. I remember one of the days at the time, I just looked back and I told my ex-wife then and said, I am the Energy God. And she looked at me like this, yeah. I was watching the movie Mortal Kombat and I'm like, I am the Energy God. She was like, oh, what do you mean? I said, I am. If I put all these conversations together and then I'm the only one that does this like this.
Mm-hmm.
I did an intro for Lamine on the album. It was fire. I've done tours and then I come out, I look even almost larger than the artist. I come out and who is this guy? And then it sparks conversation and I see all the comments. I've loved this type of story. This the way the partying like this is different and nobody's bold enough and confident to even face people at any type of party.
Yeah.
I am the Energy God. And that was why I matched the name and then I changed my look. I cut the hair off because I was on black on dreads then. I cut it off, dyed my hair. My first show was the Sounds the MVP. I was the opener for the show. I'm like, who's this guy? I cut the hair off, made it white, and that was it.
And the rest, as they say,
changed the fashion, the outlook, my conversations, and then because I wanted to set a legacy. Right now, there is no club, no party, no event, no weddings. After you guys have done all your razzmatazz, it ends with an after party, and there's always a hype man. There is no club. It became a thing. Now you see, even corporate organizations will tell you, "Oh, after everything that is, that's okay. If we can't even book an artist, we can't really pay. Let's pay for a hype man." And then it became a thing, and then it grew into all of this. Seeing a lot of young kids out there, and, you know, now people now wanted to now go and say, "Oh, you know what? I want to be a hype man when I'm done from school."
Mm-hmm.
That was the type of legacy that I wanted. So I can take the credit for commercializing it, but I give a lot of respect to Special Specs for starting something that nobody really thought about at the time.
Yeah.
Now, I plunged into that and made it larger than life. That's what it is.
All right. Shout out to Special Spesh. We see you. We see you, Spesh. Okay. Now, so kids want to be you now. So, I mean, but there was nobody like you that you wanted to be. So who did you want to be when you were in school, since there was no Dotun, there was no DO to the T, no, see, I'm working here, so
DO to the TU.
DO to the TU, and you know, so who did you want to be like? What did you want to be when you were in school?
So when I was in school, I've always wanted to, radio was my first love. I mean, to be honest, I started with dance.
Okay.
And there's a guy I used to watch on TV called Wade Robson. I mean, aside the fact that we had...
Oh, I know Wade. Wade used to, the guy who was embroiled in the Michael Jackson thing at some point. Yeah, I know Wade.
So Wade Robson used to have a popular show on MTV.
Yeah, where they'd be in the galleries upstairs, there'd be the, you know, those were the early days of, you know, MTV.
He was one of the best dancers I've ever seen. And he kind of his moves and the way he danced kind of reminds me of Justin Timberlake. But that was, I've always wanted to dance. But I also realized there was a lot more than that, because I felt like, I think dance was the fire that I needed to broadcasting. Yes. And that was why I studied mass communication in school, because I was a decider and because my dad somehow shaped me into it. My dad loves to talk about politics, football, every single thing. And he listens to the radio a lot. As a matter of fact, my daddy listens to radio more than he watches TV. And that's how I grew up. He would buy me transistor radios when there's no power, you know, which is a normal thing at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, for no.
How that at the time? You know me at the time. At the time,
at least now he's a bit better, to be honest. Yeah, but then, you know, we're in the era of when the light comes up, we shout, up, Nepa!
Yeah.
So it was pretty bad. That's to tell you that I mean, these days now, you load up your meter. If you have money, have power, you can control the people that give you light or no.
You can talk to them.
There's a dynamic of how we used to get power. We used to think, is it like a kid just switches it on and switches back? But the truth is, at the time, there was never power. It was always a big problem at the time. So my dad used to buy me transistor radios. He buys it and he buys for himself as well. So sometimes he buys for himself. We all listen to it. And then I grew on a lot of shows. And also the fact that I spent a few time after secondary school at home, it built the love that I had for dance and radio. And then I used to listen to the Voice of America. And then I used to listen to this guy they call Emeka Odigbo, who was on the AM radio at the time. And then when FM radio started to pop, Ray Park came. There was JJ, so rest in peace. There was also... I think on rhythm was a guy they called Topper Brown. So these are guys that I used to, so rest in peace as well. Fantastic broadcasters. So it kind of just, I was at home, I was bored, and that was my go-to. And then I love this. And I built that over time, and that's how I picked up radio. So the truth was, I basically didn't have anything in my mind, because if I wanted to go by what I thought the first time, I'll have been a doctor. Which would have been a problem, because instantly I would have been one of the doctors that probably even forgot scissors in somebody's tummy after the surgery. So it wasn't my thing. So I clearly just wanted to be. But I knew I just wanted to do entertainment. But I think when I figured it out was when I was about to fill my jam form, and my dad sat with me and asked me. I said, okay, I want to do medicine because I had an uncle who was very popular gynecologist, fantastic doctor. Or, one of the first to ever be big in the family. I was like, maybe that's it. I'm like, no, I love mass communication.
Okay.
And majorly because I wasn't that great in maths. Because I knew that on sciences. Yeah.
My man.
That would have been
that's
thing.
us.
So
that's us.
So to be honest, entertainment was an escape for me. So I said, you know what? Mass communication. And that was what I did. I went to the art class, moved from there.
Lucky you. Yeah. They allowed you to go to the art class. No, they did. I was in the art class for all of 2 weeks. My parents heard. They hauled me home. They insisted I had to go to science, and I suffered.
I was, because my dad also was a bit open-minded at the time, which is not very conventional with African parents, where they let you. I think it's unconventional to say you want to go to an art class.
It's abnormal, unconventional. It was abnormal.
It was
unusual.
So they didn't like.
Case in point, in my school, we had 4 science classes and 1 art class.
Crazy.
No, we had 1 commerce, we had one commerce, we had 1 art, and we had 4 sciences. B, C, D, E, F.
So it's the same everywhere. So the truth is, art classes then were like the minorities.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you didn't make it in commercial, you didn't make it in science, it's art class. So the thing is, it's almost at the time like the rejects, the minorities.
Yeah.
That's what but we also have a lot of people that's what they've always wanted to do. They actually aced it in the exams, what they wanted to do. So it's the same too as well. Because I went to Mayflower School, Kenneth. 4 classes. So if you're in red, green, blue, by stratification, you are the smartest kids, right? You know, once I what class are you in red? Only one gonna.
Yeah.
So when you start to go to blue, they start to say, all those blue, less bright color blue and all that. Just know, you're in the art class. They kind of see like,
it was so unusual that when we got a head boy, the 6 years I was in school, only one time was a head boy.
Crazy.
And it wasn't from art, it was from commerce. But even that was an anomaly. Because all the head boys came from sciences. Right. But that guy was so brilliant in commerce that they just had to make him the head boy.
And then, like you said, then he's seen as, this is not normal.
This is not normal.
Find a kid because usually they believe that the best of the best students are in the sciences. But then I used to have a lot of my friends that are back in science. You're almost like the best when you were in your class before you did your exams. And then you are now in a class.
You're not struggling.
It's like you're in a class with the best of the best, and then you're struggling. So I have a lot of friends who actually not relegated to commercial or to an art class, and they did really good. But then art was seen as like once they start to say, what class are you in? Say you are in pink or you are in brown. As a matter of fact, then even colors had, yeah. So you say you're in brown, orange, pink. Just know how set on.
Yes, I was imagine as a guy saying I was in pink.
Yeah.
I was in pink class.
Crazy. So but I did art in school, and I'm grateful that I made that decision.
Yeah, but Dr. Why are you always fighting? Why is that? When I think of you, you're always fighting. You're always fighting. It's just like on Twitter, you're just always. When I think of you, I think two things.
Okay.
I think fight, confrontations, and I think energy, which is your job.
Yeah.
Say, why are you always?
So see, my confrontation is, I mean, I like the fact that I have a great pair of people, or people who actually follow me and know that I rather deal with people that know me very well. And what that means is sometimes, I mean, I can come across as I kind of pose a personality that is, or kind of
abrasive.
Exactly. But that's not who I am. I think for me, it came from the idea of when I was in this space, entertainment as it is, it was easier to say things to people and then you just embrace it. Everybody have their own different threshold, right? Then it was easier for me to take these things because sometimes I validate these things. When somebody says, you are mad. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm actually mad. But because the profession or the fact that you're in a space does not let you, or it puts you in a position that, okay, because you're a public figure and certain things you can address, just leave it as it is. But the truth is, I felt better when somebody says certain things to me and I don't like it. And I'm not happy about it. And I'm like, I'm a human being before anything. I mean, if I met you on the road and you said that to me and you said, I probably have replied to you anyways. The only difference now is on the public forum. But there are so many people I don't even reply. I've just blocked them off. But I feel better when you say things to me and I say mine back. Go and check all my conversations. If I address certain things, I'm addressing it from a point of view of wisdom. And I'm not saying I'm the wisest person in the room, but also I think I'm just one of the few guys who have seen that I'm a human being before anything else, which is normal. It's okay. Because the truth is, how do you drive for that? You said you're mad. That the only difference now is we're doing it on the public forum. So if somebody says certain things that hurt me and I'm not happy about it, I say mine back and I feel better. Now, apart from that, I also have grown to understand that with me, I got better as a person when I became more open-minded. I live my truth and I just don't hold it back. For example, with all the things that happen with me with family, people that know me know those who never have. So I saw comments like that, those who never have and that's it. But they saw that side of me because you've touched on something that really got to me. And why would I lie to myself or hide if I have to or deal with it differently? We're all different. The same way, things might get to you, might see it differently. But the truth is, we also are in an industry that embraces that you don't speak your truth, regardless of whether it is, or you see things going on with people and then you have to just suck it up because at the end of the day, that's what it says. Yeah. And to be honest, as Nigerians, that's why you see there's a level or a high level of hypocrisy with some of us because there are things that that we're supposed to address that we don't. And then it burns in our mind. And then, we take it out on other things in life and that's it. But I just realized that, I got to a point in my life that, what? If I say certain things that I don't like, I'm not happy about. It is what it is. In our closets, we'll say it to ourselves. So why can't I just say it to you when you say it to me? I don't know you. You say things about me. And listen, half the time of people that even come for me, half the time or most times you see people who come for me deliberately for no reason. And then I'm thinking, okay, yeah, you got your shot. I take mine back. It is what it is.
So we're taking shots back and forth. I mean, who now? Have you ever gone and you went back and forth for days and you just keep going back?
Honestly, like I said, for me, that cruise is all bants. People think I take this thing seriously. And some things, the only thing that I take seriously are three things. My family, my career, and that's my work, my job. And majorly, I care about people who are oppressed in the process or a process oppresses them. Those are the three things. Now, other things about side stuff, you say things about me, whatever, but when it's not true, I'm cool with it. So when people think that I take this thing seriously, and that's why recently I've tried as much as possible. When I want to speak on something, right, I will not speak from an angle everybody sees. I don't want to mention a conversation now because it might spark up certain things.
Okay.
There was a time I talked about a particular person and how the person handled deals with people.
Okay.
When I said it at the time, because it was loved, they think I was crazy.
Mhm.
But now it comes out and then I realize that, but then we don't address things with people because you are speaking about somebody that they love. Even if the person, first of all, how do you argue with someone like me? With someone like me that you know that my job has been, I have ample information on many things. I'm not allowed to even divulge the way I should because it's a controlled system, right? But the fact also remains that you might not be in my industry, but you sure that when I say certain things, I know so much. I might just not be able to tell you what it is. So you see someone that is doing a 9 to 5 job. He probably never on social media every single time, or maybe doesn't even know anything about what's going on or whatever, but they have an opinion, which is great, but they have an opinion about things they don't know nothing about. That's a problem for me. But Nigerians don't like, especially us here, we don't like when we speak about people that they love, even if they're doing something wrong. Now, you will be blacklisted. If there's someone that they love, they don't care what the person does. But I come out, I say it as it is. Just a few guys will like you for doing that. But we are in a system that you're not allowed to speak about things that doesn't make you happy, or things that are not done the right way, or things you're not allowed to speak about things that is about something or somebody, or it could be religion, it could be tribe, it could be a person that they love. So they will see me as a type of guy because, listen, I don't hold anything back. The only thing is that I am not going to use, like when I was on my days on the radio, I don't use my platform. If I don't like someone, that's not the more reason why I'm not going to play your record. No. The job allows you to do your job. I might not align with you outside or whatever it is, but I don't use that as an edge. The fact that if you're popping, you're popping. If your music is hot, that's fine. If I don't like someone based on what it is, the system has to do their job. It's fine. Do you get what I'm saying? The fact is, I don't control that because it's put on your belt, it's put on your show. You have to let it go. So, but you see, where I have a voice, it's my phone. It is my timeline. I'm not going to come to you and say anything. You come to my timeline, say something I think I don't like. It's my timeline. It's public, and I'll reply you accordingly. Simple as that.
Okay, so tell me, first of all, net. No, in fact, let me write that one down. That's what I want to get to, which is why I hold this, because you're throwing so much at me that, I have to write stuff down.
Okay.
Lest I forget, at the risk of forgetting. So, you said you don't take it seriously. But how does one not take it seriously? Which is why I usually would ignore. I find that whenever I engage with anybody on social media, whether an entity or a non-entity, what are people call non-entity?
Non-entities.
A non-entity.
Yeah.
I find that it diverts my attention from other things that I should be doing. It takes my attention. I'm checking to see if they've replied, what I would reply next. But it just, I don't have time between the bandwidth of having been a father of 3, being a husband of 1 amazing woman, running these shows, controlling staff in Nigeria, or working with staff in Nigeria, wondering what is going. I mean, there are just not enough hours in the day. And now, once I'm embroiled, the very few times, if ever, I've been embroiled in back and forth on social media, I'm intense that way. That's all.
Baba,
how do you not take it serious?
You can't, and this is the truth. Like I said, you can't take it to heart. Even while I was working my job, I'll tell you, and the thing I tell a lot of broadcasters, it would get to you, right? Or your work, maybe the way the boss had handled certain things, who you're working with, and then when you don't expect anything, reduce expectations and focus on your core. The thing is that when I'm working, I'm doing something that pays my bills, you're not going to see me having that conversation. Like I said, with me, it's bants. I can do it top of my head in my sleep. The cocoa is that, I understand from your own perspective and all that. I mean, in my own time, I also realized that it's not every time I spend that time. I also have a lot of things I'm doing, and I work hard. But the only truth is that it's just bad for me. And let me now tell you one funny thing, right? With your job, it's good to be passionate about it. But I tell my peers, because now you're doing a job, I realize that you're expecting something. Because guess what? You're putting all your work in building other people, and then you're not growing. It gets to you. Those are the kind of things that get to me. You get what I'm saying? And in the course of my job, not somebody saying things that are not true. And even if you are, you get what I'm saying? I'll tell you my truth and I keep it moving. Majorly, how many minutes of saying that? The only problem is that when I say it, it's fire. So you get what I'm saying? And that's why I say, don't let me speak. When I speak, it's fire.
Yeah.
I give it the time that I want, and then I move on to
because those things hardly ever cross my spectrum or enter my zeitgeist or come into my universe. But for some reason, I saw your reply to, I forget his name now, he's big Afrobeat podcast guy in the UK. Is he Adeshope?
Yeah.
Yes. And I saw you, that just crossed my timeline, something about Shokwe, with all due respect. That has something to do with Pella and all of that. Yeah. So let's use that as an example. Where did that end?
So it's a simple thing, right? It ended with as much. So now this is the difference. Sometimes our colleagues say certain things. You threw it out in public. And then maybe the people say, if I don't send a message for this thing. Real time. Because I also need to understand that, what you're doing, you might have now it's a situation where you have someone like a Runtown and Pella. But then Runtown has done a lot of work. He has cooked one of the best songs. This guy has racked on charts and everything. Runtown, hit maker.
Yeah.
Whether he doesn't make hits anymore. Because let me tell you one thing, what that gives the public is people who are younger and things like, what was he really doing? Or maybe they walk again. But the truth is that everybody can have a recess. Everybody can have a creative block.
Everybody can have a wilderness. In fact, you will, it's not even can.
So
you will have a wilderness at some point.
Out and saying that is that I know he meant good, but you are putting someone else in the line of fire because Runtown has worked so hard to get to where he is. And a lot of young people need to understand that you cannot discard someone's work just because you got born in a certain time and your history starts from a particular time. If you're going to talk about, I tell people, if you're going to speak about music and you want to speak about it with that level of depth, or you want to make it as your core, you have to research. You have to go back and you might not know every single thing, but you have to understand. You can't just throw away things, but it made Runtown look bad. And that's the public. I wasn't clearing Shopsy, which I was, but I'm saying that for public perception, don't let it seem like a younger person who has probably not grown his career to the next level, or maybe he has, to have that type of perception about somebody who has worked so hard to build something for us, for everybody. Because I always say something, you don't have to hold my hands and say, oh, I put you on. I never met Michael Jackson. You probably never met, some people have never met Jay-Z before. But when they ask you who inspires you, you mention his name. You put it in your bios, oh, he's one of my mentors. But you've never met him. But by virtue of work on what you've done, it's enough for me to look at you and say, that guy put me on. Because he opened a door that he was bold enough to that I couldn't at the time. Some of our mentors, we never met them. You're one of the best TV hosts I've ever seen. And maybe I've never been on your show. This is the first time ever. But the fact is I've watched you on TV and a lot of kids are sitting there saying, I want to be like that. You can't blame someone or let the person or victimize someone who was meant to, who has done the work and opened the doors for a lot of young people to grow and build themselves. And then you say, go and work more. No, just because a young kid said something in that way. And then I needed to address that publicly as well. No hard feelings. Shops and I are cool. It's based on the work. We're professionals. But also, I think the biggest issue with what's going on now is that we've set so many preferences that are not okay for our mindset mentally, and people were working in the creative space. Some people are scared. Some people are even scared to say, let me try again. Some people they have a deep rest and they're never coming back up again.
Let's stay there a minute. All alubarika. All alubarika.
So
we've said such, it's now so toxic that if you've had a lull or a recess or you've taken a break, you're so scared to even try to come back, to even try to do something.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're going to kill you.
Absolutely.
It's almost like it's bad to have a recess. Meanwhile, if you understand life, you will understand that recesses are not only compulsory, they are necessary. Without that recess, you're actually going to peter out later on when you cannot afford to peter out.
Yeah.
There's no single great person in history
True.
that didn't go through a down period. But it seems that our environment now, whether online or offline, is so toxic that if you take just a week off, then you're dead. Yeah. So people are now scared to even try to attempt stuff after they come out of what I call metaphorically your wilderness.
True. And that's what we cannot afford to make it worse. We can't project. For example, anybody who woke up in the morning and made a body of work and then it becomes something that is evergreen, you still have to have a level of respect with that. Now, we also need to understand that, especially Africans, we've become very ageist. Celine Dion went to her own bad face.
Oh, yes.
But guess what? She's one of the legendary, and people still go for our concert before she even was ill.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey made a record that every year, because she's still a great, we still reference Whitney Houston till date. We need to get away from the culture of, oh, you have to keep doing it. Yes, it is. But sometimes people can have a bad day. People can, and that's not why you have to encourage them. And when somebody comes and say, with that person, that one, it's not, in the first, I will educate that person that, listen, you are doing this, and one day you're probably going to be owning this, and then somebody will look at you and think you've not done anything. And how are you gonna feel? So my own conversation, using that as the yardstick, is telling someone like a Shopsy that you shouldn't be talking to Runtown because he had done the work already. Maybe there was a creative block at a particular time of his life, but you also have to be able to let the younger ones see that, oh, you can have a creative block. Things might not happen at the same time. People don't blow forever. So, but at some point, and guess what? He still made records that maybe for some reason you have not really checked it out. So someone who does not know anybody, doesn't know that certain person, I'm not going to encourage that kind of conversation. I'd rather come from an angle of people are coming, they see these things and think, okay, because you're old enough, that means you cannot do it, or you're frail to do it. And then guess what? When somebody just feels, oh, this is my time. Yeah, I get it. I don't want to do this anymore because then when I come out now, they'll probably just trash me. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm not going to encourage that. He addressed that publicly, and then he knew. And for me, I love the fact that Shopsy is a great guy. He does his own thing. But somehow we just need to be able to call ourselves out at some point. And that's what happened.
That thing made me feel old, right? Because it made me feel relatively old because I didn't understand the rationale. Because for me, Runtown is very recent. I've been doing it from way back since the days of when Baba Frayo
absolutely
was a thing. So for me, Runtown is just now. What? How can anybody say that Runtown is? How can anybody not know Runtown? That's me.
Yeah. So
Runtown are just now.
And even if you don't know,
yeah,
we also need to embrace a culture of researching.
Yeah.
Of educating yourself. You don't have to know. If I don't know anything, or maybe I don't assume that because I don't know someone, that means they're not good enough. And that's the type of narrative and culture we need to change. We are very ageist. Once somebody is say, this one no fit. No. Yeah, I know we need to move on to something new, but don't forget, Style Plus still looks fresh as ever.
Mm-hmm.
The music right now, in the last year of December, those guys racked in a lot of money. They were on, because now we're starting to understand Jimmy Jack was in America for a while. He came and did his concert and was blown away. And guess what? Everybody that performed are guys that probably had their last hit was in like 10 years ago. And he felt so refreshing. I just want us to get to a point where we have to do more research. We don't have to pick our history from when we were born. Even if that's the case, does not mean the things that happened before you were born are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually the thing, and that's the reason that we have a little pop. And then guess what? It's done. listen, ID Kabasa came to the business and he refixed some songs. Look at the one he did with Too Fat. He sounds great. And that was a song done over 10, 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Nice, for example.
Yeah.
Gongwaso is a song that is almost 10. I mean, yeah, closely one of Gongwaso came out.
I can tell you, Gongwaso was 2006-7.
Okay.
2006-7. I remember I had a show at Muson Center in 2008. Gongwaso might have been 2008, and it was hot at that time.
And you know, you play that song any day, it's still hot. I feel like things can be seen as old. It's like art. The older it gets, the more expensive it becomes. An art piece, the older it gets, is even crazier when the person dies. The person who made that piece, because now what it means that nobody can make that again.
I just had goosebumps because I was at a party recently where they played Ooh, Let's Make Love Tonight.
Kai.
I mean, and it was Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, the people who knew, and the people who didn't know, the younger people were asking us that's such good music. Who's that?
Sure.
I'm like, that's the soul master, baby.
The thing is, I also encourage a lot of our older guys, move with time. Things are changing. You know, people are getting a lot more serious with the next level, with technology. You can't get stuck in where you are. Move with time. So it's both ways. You know, as much as we're trying to encourage our grades to move on and I mean, telling, we need to check them on what we were doing right now, we also be able to tell ourselves that, you know what, you got to move with time. Yeah. Transitioning is one of the biggest problems in the creative space, because you get to a point and you're just tired of doing it. But that's the thing, it also means that it doesn't matter what your age is, you got to evolve. I mean, what suits your time, your age, and what you can sell to your to people that are still, you know, they're still locked on what you're doing. It's just, you got to just move with time, because your fan base will age, right? King Sonny Ade, legend, King Sonny Ade, the legend, Ebenezer Obey, still performing till date. They moved with the crowd. They moved at their time, and that's it. It doesn't matter that there's other guys that are coming up, and, you know, that's it. We also have to learn to move with time and transition right. No one, I need to move from this point to this point and don't get stuck in there. But also, we also have to encourage a lot of younger ones to do a lot of research, educate themselves, especially when you talk about music. You have to equip yourself with a lot of knowledge.
I should also add, as a matter of fact, that as a matter of knowledge and truth and power, that Dave Chappelle is one of the most respected comedians in the world right now. But a lot of people don't know that after the Chappelle show debacle, when he left and went to South Africa, a lot of people don't know that he was away for 12 years.
Yeah, he was.
Between them Netflix specials that you're all watching, he was down time for 12 years.
Yeah. And you know what? They were going to pay him an amount of money. I mean, these days now,
that he walked away from. That 50 million then would, that 50 million that Comedy Central was offering him then would be maybe easily 200 now. Yeah. He walked away from
it.
And he seemed to pay the price for 12 years.
But look at him now. It's like fine wine.
Yeah.
He's one of the hot right now. He's one of the hottest.
He won the Mark Twain Award.
Yeah.
I love, my best comedian ever is Chris Rock. Yeah. That's my best ever. But Chris Rock does not have a Mark Twain yet, which I think is a travesty, by the way. But this guy came out all the time that Chappelle was in the wilderness, on the backside of the desert. Chris was dropping them things and it was hot. He's still hot. But right now, Chappelle came back to a Mark Twain. So that's the thing. And I tell people that, look, I've said it now, I'm going to say it again. Look, if you're going to last long, you've got to go. Look, King Sonny Ade seemed to have lasted forever. But people conveniently forget that there was a period of about 1 year, 1.5 years, maybe almost 2 back in the early 90s where he was off the scene because he was ill. He was sick, physically sick. And so he came back talking about, not be me, they say he die, na lie, then they lie. So the fact that a person seems to have a down period does not mean, in fact, the Yoruba say that agbotota dimenyi. When you see a ram retreat, it goes to gather space pace and momentum for the next headbutt.
True.
That's what it's going to do.
And I think that's what we need to encourage people to know that, old is not bad.
Nah.
Old is not, new is rejuvenation, but old also is not bad.
Nah.
And that's why, look at Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes seemed like a completely new rapper. After how many years? And then a line he did many years in one of his songs is what is going on TikTok at some point.
Yeah.
And now, guess what? He's still doing tours, doing what is old is not bad.
Well, I've even gone far. How has Thames won a Grammy?
With a song that was made almost, that song is like,
What else in year one?
Yeah.
As in year one.
Love Me Jeje.
Love Me Jeje in year one in the University of Lagos.
Crazy.
When that thing came out.
Yeah. And look at now, the characters in it. Look at Shafi Bello was a lady. She took the lead vocal, I think.
Yeah, the chorus.
Yeah, the chorus of the song. She's still one of the biggest actors. Tony Tomato went away for a while.
I think there's something about 12. She was also gone by her testimony on the show. She was gone for 12 years in London, taking care of her kids, doing what you might call, low-level jobs and all of that. In her case, they actually wrote her off and out.
Absolutely.
They said she was done. She was done. She was dusted.
Yeah. Her kids told her and said, Mom, you need to go back. You need to go back. Look at now. Tony, for me, will probably be one of the highest paid actors right now. Look at R&D. R&D just produced his movie not too long ago.
By the way, he was gone to. He went to be commissioner for some like 6 years or so.
And there are so many guys like that, like OK Bakassi, they left the scene for a while. And the truth is, my point is very simple. I'm an advocate of rejuvenation, transitioning, new, fresh. It's necessary. But we have made it seem like just because we don't know the story, like this kind of things we said, and people probably be shocked and think, oh, really? Probably some people never even knew that ever happened to some of these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe people are going through their own stuff and nobody had an idea. Shout out to likes of Sound Sultan. Sound Sultan was one of the most absolutely a genuine soul who did it just for the culture. He wanted love, fix people's issues together, and he had no scandal of sorts. But I'm sure when he wanted to, he was like, I don't want even have to come out. Nobody knew he was going through anything. And that was why it was more painful when he passed, and it was so painful. Because that was one of the genuine people in the industry. But then maybe you might put a record, I'll be waiting about this thing sometimes. But the truth is, look at his song now. Evergreen music has done it. Now he's gone. We're probably going to miss it.
You don't even want to know what that song. I love that song when it came out. When it came out, it was one of my best songs on repeat in my car. But you don't even want to know what that song meant for me when COVID hit me up in the United States. Kodabile. No matter where you go, make you no forget area.
Oh my God.
Man, I'm like, damn.
Nigeria is great. I love us. We're different. We're very peculiar people. And that's why the truth is we can stand the test of time. We're different. And I think also want to give the compliments to Nigerians on how we support our music and it's just that for us, we just need to be a bit more kinder to each other.
Yeah.
Love ourselves a lot more.
Yeah.
And have a common goal, so we can fight right.
Yeah.
That's it. We can have a common goal.
See, you got me talking Yankee now. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? But so what do you mean you retired from radio? Because I wrote it down now. You said when I was in entertainment. What do you mean when I was?
I'm still in entertainment, but I am radio. I did radio for 20 years. I've been in the space since November 1st, 2004. And I did every single thing. As an intern, studio rat, bought up for the biggest stars, and because I wanted to do it on a different and larger scale. And that's why I want to give, shout out to a lot of guys that I respect who I worked with directly, the people like Dan Foster, so rest in peace, that's a great, amazing guy. Olisa Adibwa, Ebelayor, Bini, Daddy Freeze, Manny, because the truth is people don't get that chance like they used to anymore. But I think they let me tough, but they let me grow.
Okay.
because now I was in a space whereby I had to build myself. So radio got to a point where I realized that, aside sending a legacy, it's a time that you want to see things differently. You want to have ideas and magical, futuristic conversations about certain things. And then you realize that, sometimes it's not forthcoming. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest, the things that gave me the most money is not, they maybe gave me the most, because I would say it, when
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
you have people, that's money.
Ènìyàn bóní lára já ṣọ́lọ́,
Absolutely.
ènìyàn láṣọ iyì mi tí mo fi ń bora.
Radio gave me that. And that's why bowing out was the most, it wasn't painful.
Why'd you do it though?
It was time. I just woke up one morning, I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I felt like I hit the roof. I got to a point, I've done everything that should be done in that space. And I felt like it's time. Like, you have to know when to say your goodbyes. I mean, where I was working, great relationship. I built one of the best shows ever, from Party Club Mix to Superstar Wednesday, which was right now today is one of the most magical shows they ever had on that belt, because that's where all the superstars come. Everybody, even if they're on tour, the first place they want to come is that show. And they looked at it like the same way you see the Breakfast Club, the same way you want to talk to people like Big Boy Hot FM. That's what it is, or 97. It is. Or the same way you want to break, or you want to talk about music and you look for Sway. That was what I was. And that's what I'm still in anytime, any day. But I just felt like there's time for everything. I've done it for 20 years. It started to seem like it was a hobby for me, but it started to seem like futuristic conversations that should happen was not. And then, fair day, I'm going to say it in English, where you have gathered your most prestige, and then it now becomes something else, and
I can say it in Yoruba for you if you like.
yeah, if you want to.
Tó o bá pẹ́ lórí míkímí, èsì ni ọba yàn bẹ́ẹ̀.
Yeah, so make the tone see finish.
If you too take for where you're not supposed
but
to
not
take.
even this, not just even the establishment itself. It's just generally, I just realized that radio, I started to lose the respect that it should have. Just because some people are not handling things the proper way. Apart from that, people are not, it started to look like a profession that was just a get by. Just do it to get to the next level, and let's see how that takes. And that's not the kind of legacy of future I want to build. I'd said when I clocked 40, I just said, you know what? I need to start something completely different from what everybody knows me with.
So
which is good. For example, right now, but the only thing that's not going to go away, because I love it, and it's also giving me the same edge where if it's people, yes, I met them, and it has made me the most money, is hype. Radio was not just something that I built, I met it. But with hype, in Africa, I can completely say that was one thing that I can boldly say any single day. And it's not just me saying it, facts. If you go and check ChatGPT, Google the biggest hype man in the world, I'm number 20. So in the likes of DJ Khaled, Memphis Bleak, Split Star, these are top hype men in the world. I'm number 20. And I'm the only only African on it at number 20. Now, the biggest hype man in Africa, I'm number 1. So based on facts, some people might doubt that, you can Google it, use ChatGPT and check. That's 1. 2 is, in Yoruba, like I say, which I know that I control my own thing. I control when I go to work. I control based on what kind of bookings I get. I control the kind of clients I speak with. It's not tied to anyone. It's not tied to control. It's not tied to someone who believes in an administrative thing or has to do things their own way. It's not tied to anything. It's something I can boldly say that I own it. And I feel happy doing it. And that's what I focused on. My podcast is coming too as well. 2 actually, which I'm working on. But I don't want to just throw anything out. It has to work. And I want to be more music-based, and one is more life real issues, and majorly for men as well. Because I also realized that my story inspired a lot of people. Open, because the truth is, a lot of men look at me and think, you went through this. Some people never come out of real life. You went through this. Some people never had great health after that. But I've been able to manage that, work, do my thing, because to be honest, it gave me more fire to be better, to build myself mentally as a person. And also, I'm not saying all men should be like me, but I also feel like men need to also speak up. Men need to identify that, you can love, you can show love, you can be open. Men need to understand that you can, listen, you can
emote.
Yeah.
You can express yourself.
You express yourself if you want to. And also, men need to also be able to get to a point whereby they have to start understanding their women.
Okay.
Not just acting based on the fact that the things we grew up in and say, that's a lie. That's why you have a lot of broken men. So we also need to address things like that in that phase. And that would be a conversation. Now, holistically, you'll be a lot of things talking about religion, politics, we're touching on so many things, lifestyle, even from fashion to every single thing. But now we're not speaking on misconceptions that people, because Nigeria, especially Africa, we have so many, or the things that we've seen as myths, and we've seen it as facts, which is not facts, and we've grown with those things. I think is normal. So that's the kind of things we'll be touching on as well.
Okay, so is that storm behind you now? Those personal storms?
Sure.
Are you in a good place now?
I'm in a fantastic
Are you in the promised land, metaphorically speaking now?
So promised land is very relative.
So metaphorically speaking,
I'm in the promised land in the aspect of knowing thyself. I think sometimes there's some things you fight for, and then the more you fight, the more you lose. And then I've realized that it's better to fight differently. Because in all of this, if I lose myself, how am I going to win? So I want to be able to win myself back and win my happiness back, win my peace back. And I mean, that's what the kids will love to see at the end of the day. I mean, look at Tyrese. Came online, said so many things, was unhappy about everything. But at the end of the day, everybody would decide. But I also have to be able to do the right things for myself so I can be better for other people. And that's where I am right now. Now, aside the fact that there's so many things that, it's not even about the whole thing, it's just so many things that were done wrongly. Using the system as an instrument for lies, using the system to change the course of, making what is wrong look right. But at the end of the day, if I fight based on how I feel, you come out bajagon. So I'd rather just, choose. I've chosen me, and I've chosen. I want to be a dad that the kids will live up to every single time. And I think for me, from the last that I've been, there's nothing, you can't take that away. Carry the for the rest of your life. And the thing is not just carry it as a fact, it's also carry it as a fact that we baba going to shin go there koshi. Mami mawa, koni omani to shiri. But in all of this, I can boldly tell you that I was greatly wronged. But like I said,
you were greatly wronged.
I was greatly wronged. But I'm in a good place right now. I mean, Baba. Do the things I'm supposed to do for myself, my family, and like I said, it's better to fight differently. It's not a power thing. Some people might use power, but there's also wisdom.
You know why men admire you though?
Why?
And I do, because we chatted a bit on the phone about that. It's that it takes a while to go from being a single man to being that married man. People don't understand that it's a change of your entire universe. You have men who are married now who still think they are that single guy. Yeah. It takes a while to get into the groove of being a responsible father, husband, and all of that. But once you get into the groove, then you begin to understand what it's all about. When you are home and the kids are shouting, you're like, I can't wait to get out of here. True. But the moment you get out, man, everything is, I can't wait to come back home. True. So men who have gotten into that groove cannot imagine life outside of their family. They're losing. Okay, so we're sitting right now in Lagos right now doing this. I can't wait to go back, see the kids. So when men like me say you are strong, I just can't imagine not having that.
And I've heard that from dads.
To go back to.
I heard that from a lot of dads, and and that's why it was hard for me to get to this phase. But you see, the principle is, I think there's a lot of misconception, and that's why I feel like there's some things we're not privy to because we just judge based on what we think it is. In my case, that should never have happened. That's one. Two is, I was one person at my prime, and I decided to do something that people would say, why are you doing it now? I wanted to get married before I was 30, right? I was 29 when I got married. Because I wanted to grow my kids and do it, say, by the time I'm this kind of, my kids are already here. I'm regardless of whatever it is or whatever it is. This is the crazy that I've done. I dyed my hair and maybe drinking. Do you get what I'm saying? But I clearly my life was tailored around that's it. It was for family. And people were shocked. Now, the two things I want to clear on the show is people would say, because that person, but you realize that there was no time I ever used it as in any maybe interview or maybe conversations or as my growth or as a springboard to where I'm going to. Never. I never use anybody's name. So, people say maybe not because of, no. I wanted to, when I knew that I was here, this is it. And I was there for 9 years. And guess what? I was never going to go anywhere because that's it. And that's why you see, I kept that away from the public. How come after all of that happened, somebody did not even know I was ever married? Yeah. A lot of people didn't even know. A lot didn't know I was ever married. But I was married for 9 years. And another thing is, there was no place. As a matter of fact, nobody even knew that I had any alignment with that family. So if that was supposed to be a springboard for me, how come I never used? I was pure raw.
That was relationship.
It was all Oladotun Ujua, like we carry fresh.
I don't do it.
Nothing. I don't show
the hype
off.
Man. Nothing.
You don't even see at gigs whereby you see that because this person and no.
So I must corroborate you on that because I didn't know.
Bro, exactly.
I was like, really?
But how come nobody ever really sat down to think? Everybody says because of no. That's not it. I never used this, and that's why I can boldly speak about whoever it is now. Because if that was the case, say you be bad guy, or maybe you say you do something. Mention them now. Everything was scratch. Everything about me was me. Everything about me was me. And let's be honest, if we want to throw all the cards on the table, the truth is, this is someone I've probably seen broke many times. But so it's never about that. But because of what the projection, that's what people see and think that's it. It's never that. I was me, myself, and my family. And that was why it pained me. Because that was it. That was all I lived for. But apparently, it's looking like that. I mean, I could live for other things too. As a matter of fact, even my own immediate family, I had to, everything has to protect. This is mine. Whatever I need to do for them, this is you. You get what I'm saying? You have to separate things like that. I was just very principled and they didn't like that. They didn't like that. And because sometimes you're shielding people away from certain things. And because, the things I see that a lot of people don't see. But that's it. But the two things I want to clear, it was never. The source was never. That's the beginning, middle, and the end. Everything that was told to the public was all lies. And you know why I can talk and say anything? Because I have proof. Proof, every single thing. I'm very principled though. That's the issue. Maybe sometimes, typically because I'm an unknown man. But I believe in wealth that you acquire based on hard work. I could have done any other thing. And just because I refuse to be compromised and I refuse to do certain things, it's not the reason why you should not be upset. Do you get what I'm saying? But that's the only two things. One thing is the fact that the name Oladotun Ojalabikade was raw, fresh. You didn't even know. Do you know the funny? If you sit down and tell people, they didn't even know that first, people didn't even know I was married for 9 years. Second, people didn't even know that I was even had that connection with that. I never connected my growth or who I was to that name. Ever. It was raw. As a matter of fact, I think it was more of gain because maybe for some reason it just felt like maybe it was never that. Never. Or usually open doors or do never. It is raw. Now, guess what? If I did it wrong on radio, but guess what? I didn't. I still started a new career that blossomed. There's no kid now out there you can boldly say, oh, I want to be a hype man. And when they say, who's the post boy? I want to be like Dotun. Guess what? My family, if you know, gets waiting nothing say or things anybody gets. But I mean, let's bring it back home. I've been able to build something for me and a legacy for my family that lives longer than anybody else. The fact is, at the end of the day, it might be in a small weight, but at the end of the day, guess what? I mean, think of anybody now. I host parties for the biggest people, the billionaires that you know. Mention any name that have gone, and this hype thing didn't make sense to them then. I just became someone they didn't see growing to that level, or someone they couldn't control. That's it. End of story.
This is me. I want to push you on that, but I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you because Demilade is gonna be on my neck.
Yeah.
Stomping on my neck.
Yeah.
Demilade is gonna be.
That's why I avoid, because the thing is, it's a big part of my life, but I'm in a better place right now, and I can take on anybody in any debate on this anytime. And the challenge is, I think my best part is waiting for, come and say, I want you to speak. Then you see.
I have one final question for you, and it's testing. It's testing an age-old law.
No, but see, if you know you have a truth, you're allowed to.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying, and that's why it seems like a taunt sometimes. But that's why if you notice, before we did this, you know how long it took us. I avoid this thing. As a matter of fact, I even avoid going to places that I know that it might rub off wrong. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm very protective of my space and my peace. I majorly am being on that. So, but the thing is that it's the same way you see a boxer, right? If they told you, maybe Tyson Fury punched someone, you would definitely see that now. You would tell, yes, he did. Because he's a boxer. Yeah. People judge me based on the kind of career that I have or because of my social commentary and conversation. I think what I say, I'm a different guy. And that's why you see, honestly, I'm blessed God for my kids and my daughters. And I'm grateful for the impact I made in their life at the time before all of this happened. Yeah. And you can't knock me off on that. I might not be the greatest guy when it comes to that part of the business, but on that, I tried. I just have to ask this final one for all fathers out there. This is for all fathers out there. Do you, these kids that you're so passionate about, I can see it in your eyes. Yeah. Do you have access to them? Do you see them? That's a conversation I think I was trying to avoid. But you don't have to. I'm just, we don't have to go there because again, Demilade is on my neck. The thing is, and what I was going to ask is that we have this thing in Yoruba, and you mentioned it when you mentioned Tyrese as well. Yeah. It is that no matter what is done, eventually kids are going to grow. And then the Yorubas will say they'll find their father anyway. Yeah, but I'm not of that school of thought because. Oh, you're not? Yeah, because also I feel like at the end of the day, listen, that's how they say it. Yeah, it's easier to say that. They'll say, the kid will look for you. But it's not. Sometimes kids can drift. There are so many things that shape their life when it comes to society, who they are. Those are archaic thinkings, right? But I am also not of a big fan of having to bait with children, having to conform or do things based off on the fact that it's not because you are trying to make them happy. It's because you are trying to win a war that you created. So now for that, I feel like it might be done on different terms. I'm not even saying done on my terms, but it has to be done on terms governed by God, governed by a good feeling and spirit and peace. Not something that eventually becomes a bait, which has always been the case. You can't change the course of people's life based on what you think it is or what you feel it is. And then at the end of the day, you want everybody to just conform. It doesn't work like that. You can't create a storm and then you want to go for your own. Like I said, I don't want to go into it so much, but I'll be very honest with you. I believe that, and I want to tell every dads out there, it is necessary for posterity's sake. And I think that's why, for me, I can boldly speak, because you have to fight. Your children have to know that you did that. Now, guess what? Also, you don't have to lose yourself while fighting. Because what happens is the kids will eventually grow up and start their own lives. And they'll say, okay, fine. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not in the best place. And then you're giving everything to do that. Lost everything for yourself, lost your life. At the end of the day, it's the highest bidder they go for. Which is not, sadly, that's what it is. You know, and it's not, but not the kids are all kids. People always say that, even it's tested and trusted. People tell you, oh, it has happened over time. But I think there's some milestones in children's life you want to be part of.
Okay.
But it cannot be controlled by one party or how you think it should be. No, it can't. If I come and, you know, it's not like I never committed a crime. You get what I'm saying? So towards you or anybody else is just spite. And that for me is, it has no basis. And that's why if you notice, because I like to go back to my mother tongue, is that I have clearly like to, which is sorrow, but even that, the little that I came out with, dear anymore she saw him. And thank God for people like Dimlade to Bami sorrow. You know, and I have, why I was so happy in this, on all of this happening, it even made me know who my friends are in the industry and who my friend, and people that I know that are not my friends. Because, you know, we're all caught up in these things. Some people have to be there, some people have to be there, but about the Doromo is a different conversation entirely. It has nothing to do with pay. Straight. It has nothing to do with pay. Okay. Can the basis of the bomb? But do you understand what I'm saying? That's how I'm wired. You know, but I also now realize, I'm here. I'm in a better place right now. I'm happy with myself. You know, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like, and to be honest, all of this I'm saying, it has no credit to me. It has credit to God. I feel like if God loves you, for whatever reason it is, I mean, they try to take everything. You know, with all of that and everything. You know, when they say some certain things, some buzzwords, that's it. But to truth be told, you know, all lies. And that's why I've been speaking, or I've been sorrow. Because, and like I said, thank God for people like Demilade. And thank God to my friends that I've met, my loved ones that, and family, that it's wisdom before anything. You know, you never hear anything about, oh, my parents, no. Some people even question them, why? But you don't know the kind of things they've done. But it's wisdom. Do you get what I'm saying? Everything's not reactive. Me, I'm a reactive person. I feel like debut, I'll say my mind. But also, with legal counsel and speaking to the right people who are your friends and tell you the truth, it has helped me. But more importantly, all of this is not my credit. I think God just loves me. And that's it. Nothing else. What am I doing that's really special? Nah. But all of the two things I wanted to clear on the show with you, Teju, is that, which I've never said anywhere, is that how come people have never sat down and think, okay, maybe I never used that as a springboard, ever. Everything you see right now, tested and trusted. I built it because God gave it to me. And I've harnessed it, I built it. And that was and moving forward, anything that has to do with that name, there's never an alignment all the time. This is the only time I've even ever had to speak about whoever the person is. Because I know, you know, see, they don't even know how it's deeper. I mean, that is such that. That's why I said, go familiar, why? Cheje, life, that might be at the end of the day for the right things, and that's all. That's where it ends. Anything else, familiar me why? You know, tell her you go need more. And let me, like I said, or sometimes you can't force God's hands to do certain things. Sometimes, maybe in my own way, I've been handling it myself. But for the first time, I've let God to handle it himself. And that's what it ends.
That's peace, bro. That's peace. Teach me how to say the name again. You just
D-O, that's D, number, that's D, letter D-O, to D-T-U-E.
D-O to the, okay, D-O to the T-U-N. Everybody, yeah?
D-O to the T-U-N.
Okay, if I ever forget again. Bro, look, this
Thank
was
you,
just like the deeper conversation, because you know that there's no way we would have been having this conversation now with audience like this, clapping and all of that, right? So I do actually want you back on the main show when we return to, because we must do that hype.
Oh, yeah. Because the truth is, I think that was what I grew with.
Yeah, we have to do the hype
real talk
on the show. So we're going to, and as I've said, we're in each other's hands, because we have this Demilade Olao show in our video who's going to make it happen. Bless you, bro.
Thank you very much.
For
and good
sharing.
job. Thank you.
And this one that I've let you go lightly. If you go and share deeper than this anyway, if you want to onboarding more.
Okay, but the thing is, you have to wait for my book as well. No, I mean, I think I'm going to share more
in your book.
Like in the book. And the name of the book is Do Not Believe the Hype.
Oh, when is it coming out?
It should drop this year.
Oh, you're going to give me first dibs on that. First dibs on that, man.
It will drop this year. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm scared I'm going to let out so many things out.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it's, I think with my conversation, commentaries, people have always pushed me. So I think it's time for you to write a book.
I think so.
And I've been working on it for the last 1 year.
Yeah.
So do not believe the hype. I'm also in the, I worked with TLC on the film, which I love. Make Mason is the first AI film in Nigeria. I was about past there. So maybe I'm picking up little scripts. But like I said, I'm very big on wisdom. I'm very big on knowledge. I'm very big on education. You can't never stop doing that. Okay, bro. So you promise in front of the whole world now, Dave's on the book. We're doing hype on the show. And don't go give him my interview anywhere else, bro. I wouldn't. Thank you so much. Man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, it was good. They call me Energy God Deal to the TUN #1, and I'm not playing. When he earned the name King of Talk, there's only one reason why anybody gets that name. Because it's King, he talks good, he's smart. I mean, what else can you say? It can only be Teju Babyface live. Peace.
The King of Hype said so. The King of Hype said, he said so.
King of Hype, King of Talk. Collabo.